off the back of the interview with Omid Scobie we had yesterday, having in the studio. The royal family is said to be considering their options, whether or not what exactly they're going to do. Two senior royals were allegedly expressed concern over the skin colour of Harry and Meghan's firstborn child. Archie appeared in the Dutch version that the journalist Omid did. Now, here's what he actually said on our show yesterday with regards to the manuscript. Let's have a look.
For me, I can only talk about the English version of the book that I wrote and produced.
But are you upset by it, though? Are you upset by it that those names came out when it had nothing, you didn't want that to happen?
I had never submitted a book that had their names in it, so I can only talk about my version.
Yeah.
I'm obviously frustrated. I wouldn't say I'm upset about it, because, to be honest, I've been operating in a bubble of no emotion for the last 10 days, but I am frustrated about it.
OK.
He's frustrated about the fact that that name's... Where would that have happened then? Who's done that?
Well, this is a mystery, isn't it, really? Because as the Dutch translator, who has now been tracked down, poor lady, and, you know, collared on her own doorstep, and all she is a translator for a very small company, and she said, well, I translate. I don't put stuff in.
Yeah.
You know, I translate what's given to me. So that's what I did. And the thing is, who could possibly have supplied those names apart from Omid Scobie, who admits he knows them, because nobody else knew them? It's not like various people all over the world could have just somehow put something in a manuscript. It's the manuscript of his book, and he does know the names, and it may not have been intentional, but it certainly caused a great deal of trouble and a great deal of reputational trouble for the two people named, hasn't it?
I wonder if you have any idea, like, this says the royal family considering all options. How would that manifest itself? Would they then sue him?
Well, it depends. Now, if he is denying that he placed the names in the book, I find that slightly weird, because it's your book, you would have put them in, and you would have had a legal team to scour over every single element and line of that book and then remove the names at some point.
And especially that line.
Especially that line.
It's not like this
right?
was some kind of incidental chapter that you wouldn't notice.
Correct.
This is the crucial bit.
And this is the point. This is what he wants to promote in terms of more eyes on the prize. For him now, if he is found, because there will be a paper trail, let's be clear. Someone's going to find out who sent the email, who spoke to the translator, and it will be quite easy to find out, I think. And if he is, then they have every right to sue him for damages, because they should have really checked that. Depending on what their response is, we're going to be played out now in the public as we are now talking.
Yes, I'm not a conspiracy theorist in general. I'm not keen on conspiracy theories at all. Yeah. But, you know, the people who have suggested, and it's only a suggestion, that there's a possibility that it might have been done kind of accidentally, stroke on purpose, and that pulping a few copies in Holland for, you know, to fuel sales of the book, and my gosh, it's front page of virtually every paper all over the world, is a policy. I'm not saying it's true, but it doesn't look as ridiculous as some of these theories often do.
Do you think the royal family will make a statement?
No.
No.
I think the old way of working, which is deny, don't say anything, and just carry on as if nothing is happening, is what we're going to see,
Never complain, never explain, except that Prince William, do you remember when the Oprah interview happened? He did say out loud, we are not a racist family. He did say that. So that is a
And I think we should maybe spend some time on that, because the fact is, if somebody asks a query of somebody's skin colour, the intention may not be to be racist in itself. And for me, that's really important. It's why was that question asked and what was behind it. The intent is really important. Now, Meghan may have been offended by that, and I understand totally why that would be the case. You would be taken affront if that was your child.
I think the word concerns was the word, wasn't
Although
it?
she wasn't there, of course, as she herself said, as she told Oprah. Oprah said, you know, in front of you, and she said, no, Harry. So Harry was there, she wasn't there. There was a bit of confusion over when as well. Yes.
They're talking about bias, and there is that very, very thin line. But if there were people asking that question because they felt it was going to be negative and perception of the royal family, then that is a big concern,
That's
right?
the issue.
But the denial was quite clear from the family that was not the case.
What was the tone? What was the intention? Was it just a throwaway remark that wasn't realised that it could be hurtful? Because it's possible to make remarks you don't understand are very impactful, and then it's pointed out to you. And Harry himself admits that Meghan educated him about what could be considered to be racist. There are all sorts of comments that he has made on the record that we've seen on film that are definitely racist and deeply offensive, but he didn't mean it that way. So he says he has been educated.
I think it's the word racist. No one wants to be linked to that word racist. But the thing is, if you don't acknowledge that something that you said or did or could be construed as racist, where do we go? If you just say, I'm not racist, that's not racist, we can't learn from there. That's where it stops.
Correct. And that's
you
not
see
good
what I
enough.
mean?
And in today's society, you can't have that level of ignorance, particularly
You've
when
got
you
to-
are public figures.
Exactly.
It's not like these individuals aren't trained or have people behind them to give them advice and guidance.
Completely agree. So I wonder whether it might be the right thing to make some kind of statement about the context and say it was a joke. You know, we didn't realise, or
we were genuinely
we're terribly
interested.
sorry.
Exactly.
But it could be we were interested, but we didn't realise at the time
we were
that this would be so
interested.
hurtful, and we're so sorry.
Yeah,
that
she's
could
a
be a
mixed
thing.
race woman. We want to know what the colour of the child's going to be.
Yeah.
They can say that and say, well, mate, look, on reflection,
on
maybe that
reflection,
wasn't
fine.
Because
the correct
without
thing to say.
everyone will fill the void with their interpretations, and that's when it blows up. Where if you say exactly what your stance is, then that's all you've got to go on. But at the moment,
as the late Queen said, you know, recollections may vary. And, you know, if somebody asks you to remember a conversation in your own family and exactly who said what, and exactly why they said it, and exactly what they meant, you know, it's not... Recollections can vary.